Hi, I'm Evelyn with Magellan College Counseling, and I'm here with another episode of Evelyn Explains, where I take one tiny little topic and I give you as brief an explanation as I possibly can for it. So today I want to talk about professional development and what that means for a college counselor. So I just recently renewed my certified educational planner designation. This is something I earned 10 years ago, and I have renewed twice in the last 10 years. And what that means is 10 years ago, I sat for a pretty long exam. There was hours and hours of writing involved and a lot of memorization. And every 5 years, I have to give them evidence that I have continued to attend professional conferences, that I've continued to visit colleges, which is a huge part of our work as independent educational consultants, and basically that I have just kept up my knowledge so that I am providing accurate and timely advice to the students and families that I work with. So, what does this mean to you? If you are looking to hire an independent educational consultant, someone to help your high school student go through their college search and application process, what should you look for? What questions should you ask? Well, I'll give you a list. You should ask the counselor what their training is, right? You wouldn't go to a doctor without being confident that they graduated from medical school and were a resident somewhere and took the boards. You wouldn't hire a lawyer without making sure that they're, a member of the bar. You wouldn't hire an accountant without making sure that they've passed the accountancy exam. These are all professions that have licensure attached to them. With my profession, with independent educational consulting, there's no licensure. So the truth is, anyone can put a shingle out and say, I can help your kid apply to college. So you need to be an informed consumer and you need to know what to ask to make sure you are getting someone who really knows their stuff. So I would ask them if they're a member of a professional organization. There's a handful that are solely for independent educational consultants, as opposed to school counselors. So I'm a member of the Independent Educational Consultants Association, IECA. There's another organization called HECA, the Higher Education Consultants Association. There's a couple other organizations that many of us are members of, but those are the two that are really for IECs, who, those of us who help students apply to college privately as opposed to through a school situation. You want to ask them, when's the last time you went to a professional conference, right? Like I went to last year, I went to the IECA conference. I'm already planning on going next year. I went to a year and a half ago, I went to a national conference for a different organization. I went to a regional conference this year. I'm constantly traveling and visiting colleges. So that's another question you should ask. How many colleges have you visited? Just say in the last 5 years, right? How are you keeping your knowledge up? If you are hiring an IEC, they should have visited 25 to 35. I would say up to 25 colleges in a year. That's about how many I visit in a year. And over the last 14 years, should I even tell you, over 500. And it's because I can't tell you about the culture of a college unless I'm confident that I've been there, I've talked to students. Many times I've spent the night on or near campus. I've spoken to staff, I've spoken to housing staff and dining staff. I've spoken to professors, I've spoken to people whose job it is to work with students, career services. These are all things that I do when I'm visiting a college. So that's a really, really important one. And the reason that I'm giving you this information is, again, we are unfortunately a profession that is really kind of hanging out there with not a lot of regulation attached to us. So I want to make sure that if you are paying someone, if you are trusting someone with your child's future, you need to trust someone who really knows what they're doing. So I've got a couple more articles on this. I'll also post a link to IECA. They also have a nice flyer with a whole bunch of questions that you can ask an independent educational consultant. So if you need help with your college search, that's what we're here for. I have a whole team of counselors and we work with high school students and their families across the United States to help students get into the college of their dreams. Reach out if you're looking for help.